Again, we are talking about meiosis today. On the blank sheet of paper that I gave you in class, you are to be taking notes on this sheet. We will go through the notes. Keep in mind that if you're doing the extra credit, is due next Wednesday. This will be the last time that I will mention it to you. Your homework is titled Phases of Meiosis, which you will get at the end of class. Let's go ahead and get our note sheet titled, and this is going to be page 60. Everyone can see this? Okay. Our title is going to be Meiosis, the Great Divide. I may use more sheets than you. You should be able to get this on the front and the back. The reason why my sheets may be more is because I'm writing in marker. Meiosis. All right. Just to introduce you to this first, we're going to go ahead and show a short portion of a video. If you're watching this lesson online, this video is actually already posted on the website. I am only showing a portion of it. So therefore, if you want to watch the full video, it's already. All right, so continuing with our notes here. Meiosis is actually a part of what type of reproduction? Sexual reproduction. All right, so it is part of sexual reproduction. The fact that it is part of sexual reproduction, it only is all about what type of cells? All about sperm and egg cells. All right, stay focused up here. So a little bit of background information, just to help us understand. Human cells have what? How many chromosomes do all human cells have? 46 chromosomes. Except what cells? The sperm and the egg. Except the sperm cell, which ladies only men have. And the egg cells, which gentlemen only the ladies have. chromosomes. 46 chromosomes. How many does the sperm and the egg cell have? 23. Each only has 23. So this is where it gets interesting. Creating you. Uh-oh. It's gonna get weird. Now here's the story about the birds and the bees. So, what happens is, in case you didn't know, Here's the sperm. Uh-oh. And this comes from who? From your dad. And how many chromosomes does this have? 23 chromosomes. And then the sperm, meets the egg. Oh, turn off the lights. Yeah. Which comes from who? Your mom. Your mommy. Which has how many chromosomes? 23. These two type of cells are called what? What did they say from the video? Somebody remember? A sperm cell and an egg. These are called gametes. It's the fancy name for them. You want to sound intelligent, call them gametes, not sperms and eggs. All right. So once the sperm and the egg meet, that's going to give you a fertilized egg. That fertilized egg is going to have how many chromosomes? 46 chromosomes. This fertilized egg is going to lead to what? A baby, which is how you came to be. That, my friend, is the birds and the bees. No, ma'am. I don't want to hear your example. Yes.
Wasn't every child once a female?
We already talked about this with Joel. We'll go over it later. We'll go over this later. It'll come up. All right. So this is not it, however. This is the birds and the bees. Let's listen. But we do need to talk a little bit more about meiosis. So, meiosis, unlike mitosis, why does mitosis happen? To repair, to grow, not to reproduce, replace. Meiosis is not to grow, repair, replace. It's all about sexual reproduction. So it's all about the sperm and the egg. Mitosis is not sexual reproduction. It's asexual reproduction. It doesn't need two different cells to do this. It all happens from one cell. Meiosis needs two different cells, but it does start from that one cell. That one cell had how many chromosomes? 43. That one cell that it starts with had how many chromosomes? 46. Then it splits up and it goes to become the sperm cell being the specialized cell only having 23 if it's the dad, or the egg cell only having 23 if it's the mom. So this is actually called not cellular division, but this is actually called reduction division. And just to go over that concept again, it starts with 46 chromosomes. Because remember, we all have cells that divide for growth, repair, and replace. But then we create these specialized cells, and we all create these specialized cells. Male and female create these specialized sperm or egg cells, and those specialized cells are not 46 chromosomes. They end with 23 chromosomes. which would be again the egg or the sperm. The unique thing about it as well is, unlike our cells that multiply and divide through the process of mitosis, our cells that we produce, being the egg cells if you're a female, or the sperm cells if you are a male, is they are all different. And that doesn't mean that Lady A's eggs are different from Lady B's. That is true. But all of Lady A's eggs are different. None of her eggs are the same. All of Gentleman B's sperms are different. None of them are the same. And this helps explain variety. Not just variety in us individuals here, but variety within your siblings. How many of you here have some siblings? And how many of here look exactly like your sibling? You don't look exactly like her, you favor. You don't look exactly, you favor. You favor. You don't look exactly. This favoring is because you've come from parents of the same chromosomes, but all of their eggs and all of the sperm were different, so therefore you got some similarities, but you're not exact. Understand? All right. Let's you can flip your page over if you're at the bottom. If not, you could keep going. Actually, if you are, I do want you to flip over to the back, because now we are going to go ahead and talk about the phases of meiosis, or the steps, and we're going to move really quickly through that because it's not really a lot. But I just want you to go over to the back because you'll be able to fit it on the back. You'll see that I'll be using another page because, again, I'm writing in marker. So before we get through the phases of, or the stages or the steps of meiosis, so I'm going to write that and I'm going to shorthand it. So before meiosis occurs, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you for speaking up. The rest of you was just going to invisible, right? Before meiosis occurs, we do need that interphase. Is interphase part of meiosis? No, because it says before it occurs. During the process of interphase, the same thing happens. You have your cells grow, and DNA is what? Copied. Once that happens, then we have the steps of meiosis. Now, meiosis has basically the same steps of mitosis, so that whole PMAT, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, are all still there, but it's going to happen twice. And you don't have to remember any extra crazy names because it'll be a prophase 1 and a prophase 2. Metaphase 1 and a metaphase 2. But cytokinesis is not something that happens, and you'll see as we go through. So, this portion is meiosis 1. And during meiosis 1, we have prophase 1. You'll see. And during prophase 1, this is where your chromosomes condense, meaning they come closer together, get smaller, and they thicken so they can get ready to move. They condense, chromosomes condense, and they thicken. What? What word? Ma'am, there's a lot of words right there.
So what? That's in green.
Prophase. Not only that, these chromosomes are going to match up with, and it's very important that you have this word, homologous pairs. And homologous just means twin. Doesn't mean like it's going to result in twins. It just means that the pairs are identical. During prophase, something else interesting happens. The thing that happens is called crossing over. This does not mean you were my friend and now you became two-faced and became somebody else's friend. Crossing over, I'm going to put crossing over occurs. Crossing over is the transferring, so you can see, and exchanging. So the chromosomes, they're X's, they actually intertwine with one another, kind of like wrapping their arms around one another. But once they do that, one chromosome leaves with something of one that it wrapped around with, and the other leaves with something of that one. So that's how they become non-identical, sperm and egg. So they transfer and they exchange genetic info. This again explains variety. I didn't put down here they exchange genetic info between the homologous pairs because it's evident because they're matching up with the homologous pairs. Does that make sense? Again, this explains variety. What do I mean by variety? Differences in siblings. Very good. So if you don't know what that means, then you do want to jot that down in your notes. I'm not going to rewrite it. All right. The next step is what comes after prophase? Metaphase.
Hey.
And this is going to be metaphase 1. In metaphase 1, remember something happens that goes in the middle, but here it's going to be your homologous paired chromosomes line in the middle. Now, in mitosis, it's your splitting of the chromosomes, and those splits start to line up in the middle. Here, you actually have paired chromosomes lining up in the middle. Then we have our anaphase 1. Remember, ana represents the splitting. So here you have, again, your homologous chromosomes. They move apart. And I don't say split because they're moving apart as pairs. So it's like if two couples are together, that would be 4 people. One couple goes to one side and the other couple goes to the other side. So that's why I didn't say they split. But they move apart in pairs. Everyone caught up? Okay. What comes after anaphase? Telophase. So here we have our telophase 1. And normally in mitosis telophase, you have 2 new nuclei. Here, the cytoplasm splits. And you have 2 new, and I'm going to put daughter in parentheses because they come from a single cell And that single cell would be a parent cell. The next cells made would be daughter cells. So now you have 2 new daughter cells. So notice there's no cytokinesis. This happens in telophase, your 2 new cells. Are we good with this? Can I go on? Because now we're going to go to meiosis 2. And this is really quickly. No, you don't. You keep going. I'm just going to another paper because I'm writing in marker and I don't have any space. So here's meiosis 2. What's the first part? Prophase what? 2. All right, in prophase 2, here you have your spindle fibers. They form, and your spindle fibers are responsible for pulling your chromosomes apart. Before they weren't being pulled apart, your pairs were just splitting up. So your spindle fibers form and move to opposite sides. I do want to make a point and put a little star up here. This is happening in both cells. So the 2 cells that were made in meiosis 1, this is happening in both cells. What comes after prophase? Metaphase. And this is going to be metaphase 2. Something about the middle. Here, you no longer have the homologous chromosomes doing this. You just have the chromosomes. Line up singly. Is singly a word?
No.
Okay, so line up single. I don't believe you. In the middle. I'm gonna look it up. Singly. It might be. So chromosomes line up single, no longer the homologous pairs, but in the middle. What comes after metaphase? Anaphase. I'm not betting with you, Kyle, because I don't want to take all your money. Anaphase 2. Now they've lined up single in the middle. So now you have, instead of the homologous pairs splitting apart, now you have chromatids. And remember, the chromatids are the breaking of the chromosomes, the splitting, so they're half chromosomes, and they split apart and move to opposite sides. And what's lastly? Telophase. Telophase what? 2. What do you think's going to happen? What happened in telophase 1? The cytoplasm does split, but now forming what? How many? If you have this happening in both, how many cells do you have now? 4. Making 4 new cells. Eggs, if you're female, and sperm, if you're a male. And they are all different. Any questions on the notes? All 4 of them are all different. And remember, males don't just make 4 sperm. Women don't just make the 1 egg. The 4 eggs. There are a lot more sperms than eggs, though.